Welcome everybody to Straight Shoot Quick Shoots, and today we're going to be talking Vincent Kennedy McMahon and his so-called dark little secret allegations. $3 million being pushed under the table as hush money. Steve, what are your initial thoughts so far?
Santi, this is going to be one where the wrestling community is really going to turn on myself and they might support your opinion on this, but I'm just going to get right into it. The main thing has been investigation into misconduct allegations. That's been the title for everyone from the New York Times to the Washington Post to Wrestle Talk and everyone in between. It has been the company investigates alleged misconduct. Now, let's break that down quickly what alleged misconduct means. It means, yeah, Vince did something sketchy, but it's just minor allegations because, yes, he paid out $3 million to keep it quiet. Granted, he's a businessman. He's been doing this for a long time. Maybe he's having someone sign an NDA before you start getting involved in something like this, Vince. Might have made things a little easier for you. But now we are in this shitstorm that he has created for himself. First things first, the person was not underage. Secondly, it was consensual. So the fact that the entire wrestling community has absolutely turned their back on Vince McMahon and has said, "Yo, dude, you're in this on your own. We don't appreciate it." Listen, every third household in America has someone doing exactly the same, but at the end of the day, this is Vince McMahon and he's a public figure that holds a publicly traded company. Get off the man's back and stop disowning a guy who has made things very happy for all of you for the past 40 years. And if it wasn't for Vince McMahon, you wouldn't have this lovely thing that you talk day in and day out about, which is professional wrestling. Santi, go ahead.
Steve, I think I'm going to shock you. I'm with you. I think that
What?
I think this is none of our fucking business.
Thank you.
I genuinely believe that this is none of our goddamn business. This is, like you said, this is Vince McMahon. Do people really believe that Vince McMahon isn't some ultra alpha giga chad just slaying everywhere that he goes? I promise you that he is. He is a billionaire that is traveling all of the time. I promise you this is not his first rodeo and it's not going to be his last. I just personally think that it's none of our business. The only reason it's out there, it's because it's a publicly traded company. If WWE is still privately held by the McMahons, we would have never heard about this. This is the only reason that we're hearing about it. Once they do this investigation, he's gonna come out squeaky clean. Like you said, this was consensual. This is money that was legally paid because they were asked to sign an NDA. It's pretty standard to ask for monetary compensation in order to sign an NDA. It all, at the very least, like from the outside looking in, it all looks squeaky clean. Is it immoral? I mean, I guess you can have your opinions on that, but like at the end of the day, like it's his life. It's ultimately, in my opinion, none of our business. No one was damaged or hurt by this from what we know. So, Steve, I put it back on your table. Why should we give a shit?
We shouldn't. At the end of the day, this is not the first time we've heard about this with Vince McMahon, and this is not the first time that Linda has let it slide. All right? Vince has been doing this since he was in his early 40s, probably younger than this, but the first one that came out was early Attitude Era, just after his issues with Hulk Hogan steroid trials. This, him being in another relationship outside of his marriage, has come out publicly numerous times. The only reason now that it is a big thing is one, I think it's because he's older. I truly believe one of the main factors is that he is much older. Okay. Secondly, it's a publicly traded company. And third, we are in a new world where the community, and I don't want to use certain terms because I don't want people to get offended because that's how easily things happen in this world. But I'm screw it. The woke community really believes that everyone has to be squeaky clean if you are a public figure. That is not the case. And I'm very disappointed in the wrestling community, how they reacted to Vince coming out on SmackDown. Now, Santi, I don't know if you watched SmackDown. I did. I think it was one of the most viewed starts of SmackDown that we have seen in a very long
I
time.
went out of my way. Normally, I catch SmackDown after the fact. I went out of my way to ensure that I caught it live, obviously because of the news of Vince being on the show, and of course the main event.
Here's the thing, Vince's name in the news like this, he had to make an appearance. Vince starting a show off never is very much big news, but this one was. What did you expect? Did you expect Vince McMahon to come out and say, I'm sorry? Did you expect Vince to have Stephanie come out and fire him to make this a storyline? Vince came out and did the best thing for the wrestling community, and the wrestling community cannot see it. Then, now, forever, together.
Together, yeah.
This is their mantra. And the reason he said that is, I have done something wrong. Yes, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done it the way I did. But at the end of the day, I'm still here to provide you the best show and the best product available. That's what those 4 words said. And you know what? The mic drop, I thought it was perfect, Vince McMahon, because you know what? I'm going to walk out of here. I'm going to let this investigation come back, and I am going to Billy walk back into my position in Gorilla the second this is all done, and you guys are going to completely forget about it in 2 years. Santi, go ahead.
Yeah, I think we're completely together on this. I really think that the only reason that this is even a story is because this is a publicly traded company. Vince lost the powers of CEO, but that is in spirit. Obviously, Vince McMahon is still running the day-to-day of the WWE. If you don't think so, take a look at yourself. You're very, very wrong. I mean, just look at the main event of SummerSlam and tell me that doesn't have Vince McMahon written all over it with Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Listen, I think I started thinking a little bit deeper into this because as soon as I'm like, okay, an affair, a $3 million worth of hush money, it all seems fairly cookie cutter corporate America type of thing. I see just like, I just see this. I'm like, okay, like who cares? I started looking a little bit deeper into it and maybe like trying to make connections. I made like the silly connection to you where I was like, what if the secret woman is Sasha Banks and that's why she was fired? Obviously that's me trolling. But a actual maybe little conspiracy theorist tinfoil hat prediction is that this is WWE trying to make WWE more appealing for a purchase. The inclusion of Vince McMahon in the C-suite might scare off a lot of big organizations. It might scare off NBC, might scare off Disney, because Vince McMahon has his baggage. Obviously, he is the mastermind behind the world of professional wrestling, but he's got his baggage, the steroid trial, the Chris Benoit stuff, he's got decades of baggage that maybe just large organizations just don't want to deal with because it might just be a PR nightmare. Maybe this is Vince saying, let's find a reason to get me off the C-suite, off the board. Actually, he's not even off the board. He's just off the C-suite without having the CEO title. And it might make WWE more appealing for purchase by a company like Disney that likes, you know, the cleaner product that is easier to purchase and market and easier to make theme parks out of. That's something that crossed the back of my mind. Really, like, to me, that the angle of why even do an investigation for this is more interesting to me than the actual reason of the investigation, which is the affair, because I don't care. It's none of my business. If Vince wants to cheat on his wife, that makes him whatever, a morally ambiguous person. It doesn't make him it doesn't make him a murderer. It doesn't make him a pedophile. It just makes him someone who doesn't love his wife. Maybe it doesn't feel the same way that he did years ago. At the end of the day, it's none of our fucking business. What I'm interested in, Steve, is why run this investigation in the first place? That is what I'm interested in. What is the end goal of it?
My first idea when they said, oh, it's a $3 million payout, they're running an investigation, where did the $3 million come from? Did any of the $3 million that was paid out? Now, granted, Vince McMahon probably spends $10 million a week being a billionaire. I don't know. But where did the actual $3 million come from? Did any of it come from the investors? If that's the case, that's the only thing that makes sense to me, is where did the money come from? And was it done the right way? Oops, somebody slipped the idea that, you know what, this has all been done, paid in secret. Clearly, it's not that big of a secret since it's international news. But at the end of the day, who leaked it? Why was it leaked? Considering this has probably been done numerous times by Vince. And where did the money come from? Those are the only things that really make me want to think on this. But personally, I don't care. Vince McMahon has made me a very happy man since I was better part of 4 years old. I have been watching pro wrestling since I was 4 years old. This has never conflicted me from when I was a teenager and he was doing this, and it was coming out that he was doing this. Half the wrestlers do it. I think the bigger news right here is Jeff Hardy, and we'll get into that maybe in another video. But at the end of the day, I grew up watching Vince McMahon's product, and I was happy about it. I don't care that Vince McMahon did this. The WWE Universe and the IWC should be ashamed of themselves for trying to turn on Vince McMahon and making this a bigger thing than it actually is. Let's move on. Let's watch pro wrestling. Let's actually talk about something relevant that's actually going to change the business, and leave Vince alone at this point, because he's done this 100 times. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's Vince McMahon. He's made you happy for your entire life. Let's move on.
Let's leave it at that, because I don't think we can add anything else. Because shockingly enough, I think we're exactly on the exact same page. But Steve, where can people find you?
Guys, you can soon find me back on Twitch TV/Mr. Tesh, and on TikTok at Mr. Tesh, and obviously on the Straight Shoot TikTok and the YouTube channel that you are viewing this on. Santi, what about yourself?
Twitch.tv/SantiZap, and over on Straight Shoot over on TikTok. Make sure to leave this video a like, a comment. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe with notifications on. It's free to subscribe, so you can always change your mind. So please go ahead and join us. We're on our way to 10,000 subscribers. Thank you very much for watching this, and take care. Good night.